Let's find out how well Mouse P.I for Hire will run on handheld. Today we're checking it out on the OG Ally running SteamOS. We'll be checking it out on the Xbox Ally running Windows 11 in Xbox mode, as well as the Xbox Ally X in Windows 11 Xbox mode, and then the Lenovo Legion Go 2 running SteamOS as well. Let's just jump straight into it. Here we have the Xbox Ally, and I am running this at a 20-watt custom profile, which you can do in Armoury Crate. So I'll just quickly go through that, even if you know. So open up Armoury Crate, go to Performance, go to operating mode, whatever, go to custom, and then just max these sliders out. And then you can hit apply there, or you can even hit rename and just call it 20 watts or whatever, hit apply, and then it will show in here as your 20 watt manual mode, right? I'm also running this at 720p resolution, and I don't have the CPU boost on. So inside the game, we are running it at 720p full screen, and I've left the field of view to normal, but I have undone the frame rate limit, so it actually caps it at 60 FPS, so I've just turned that off. I've turned VSync off. I've got a render scale of 1, so it's like native resolution, right, at 720p. I've left anti-aliasing at SMAA, and then I've just gone all low preset just to see what the bass is, right? And we're getting just here what seems to be between sort of 50 and 60 FPS if I just run around this like sort of area out here. I mean, it goes all the way up to sort of like 80 plus, really. You know, it's quite a big gap just there. If we go inside here, then let's just see, it's quite dark, this area. So I'm pretty sure, can I get my flashlight out? No, not yet. At least from the angle that I'm seeing it at, it's really fairly dark, but I've got pretty bright lights on. But inside here, look, we're getting a fluctuating FPS between sort of like 50 and 100, really. It really jumps around. But of course, we've got this beautiful VRR screen just here. So it really doesn't really matter how much the frame rate is fluctuating, because it's going to continuously appear smooth without any jutters or frame tearing, or screen tearing or anything like that, just purely because of that VRR screen, right? And this honestly looks totally playable. It's totally playable like this. So off the bat, I'm going to say, yes, this game is utterly playable, totally playable. Let's just go in the vent quickly and go in here. Toggle flashlight. There we go. Oh, I've fallen outside and broken the vent. I have noticed on this area, though, there's a bug. So I've played this bit already, and the toggle flashlight just sticks on screen. And I even saved it and then came back and it still had that. I had to restart the level for it to disappear. And now it's come back again. Oh, it disappeared then, look. So when I come out here, it disappears. But when I go in, toggle flashlight, and then we can walk around here and go the way we're meant to go. Let's just see. Inside this vent, we're well over 100 FPS. Oh, brilliant. The bug has gone. I've now got a shotgun, which is really cool. So on everything low and at 720p, I mean, we're all good. We're like up to 100 FPS in some areas. Like, look at this. This is like 80 odd FPS. And to be perfectly honest, this game looks absolutely great. Even like this, you don't even need to go any further than this, if I'm totally honest, you know. Let's just blow up this floor just here, just see. Yeah, the frame rate doesn't even get affected. So we're at a really good frame rate here. And again, this is more than playable. It really, really is. But we can try and increase some of these settings, shall we? So let's just go ahead and just keep the resolution and everything the same. Let's just go to the graphic settings and let's go to medium. I mean, we're still at, oh, it's dropping down as low as 40 now. So, you know, it's not going to be as stable. That frame rate's going to jump around. I mean, I saw 35 then, as well as going up to like 70. And you can see in this sort of area, it's a little bit rougher. Like there's some sort of slowness to the frame pacing going on there. So it can get a little bit lower. But to be perfectly honest, I think it's still totally playable. But if it was me, I'd probably just stick it on all low. Let's just try, for the sake of it, trying all high. Let's hit apply, and now we're all high, and again the frame rate, it goes from sort of 30 up to 70, and it's just this area when I move the camera, can you see it getting all like stuttery? It's not as smooth as like say this area. Look, this area here is like it's not ideal. It just feels a little bit chuggy. around there. But still, you could probably play this on high settings on the Xbox Ally. But if it was me, I would just stick everything on low and turn the frame rate monitor off and just enjoy the game because it is really fun. And now let's move over to the OG Ally. This is running SteamOS 3.7. This is like the main branch, just the stable one, right? And I am running this at 20 watts because I want the sort of like best performance and battery life sort of capabilities. This is actually a modded Ally. I've got the bigger battery in there. I've got a video on that on the channel if you want to know about it. But I reckon we can actually get lower than 20 watts, like quite comfortably in this game. But anyway, so I've got VRR enabled. I've got 20 watts. This, of course, has a 120 hertz VRR panel, just like the Xbox Ally and the Xbox Ally X as well. And in the game itself, if I go across to the settings, let's go to graphics. I'm actually at 1080p on this one. I've made frame rate unlimited, right? So there's no cap. VSync's off. Oh, I just touched the screen and now my controls don't work. There we go. I've got VSync off. I've got render scale of 1, which means it's at like native resolution, right? I've got SMAA on and everything's low, right? And honestly, this looks really good. This is the kind of game that still looks exceptionally good even on like all low, because of the type of art style that it has. It doesn't really need high graphics, especially on a handheld. Remember, this is running native. There's like no upscaling here, right? So it looks great. It looks really good. And look at the frame rate. We're at like 100. Okay, it drops down to like 70 odd, but every now and again it's jumping up to over 100. And wow, it feels smooth. I definitely recommend, if you're on a controller like this, of turning the input method on the joysticks to linear, because I personally don't like the acceleration, which is on by default in the game settings, which is just if you go to the settings, right, and then go to controls, I've put it to linear controller type rather than dynamic, and then I've got the aim acceleration high, but the controller aim type to linear, sorry, and that just feels nicer. It's not as like delayed feeling, right? But yeah, so we're getting really good frame rate just out here. I'm just going to stick out here for a second, right, because we can see the sort of base level frame rate here. Let's go ahead and just stick it up to medium, right? So let's go down. We'll leave everything exactly the same. Let's just go ahead and put it to medium and then back out. And now the frame rate has dropped down. We're not hitting 100 anymore. We're at the sort of like low 90s. And then I expect it to be in the 60s. Yeah, I saw 67 there. So again, this is totally playable. I mean, from where I'm sat right now, it might just be because I'm holding it at an angle rather than like playing it how I would be, right? I'm not seeing any difference in the graphics for the frame rate loss, right? But yeah, okay, cool. Let's just go ahead and try high, just to see what that's like. So I'm going to leave everything exactly the same again, and I'm going to go ahead and just push it to high and hit yes, and then jump out. So now looking this way, instead of it being like 100 or 90, we're the high 80s, right? So I expect the frame rate to drop down, but still, I only saw a drop down to like 60 FPS there, and that's running all high native 1080p. It still runs really, really good. But if I'm totally honest, what I would do personally, let's just see if we can squeeze some more juice out of this in terms of better battery life, right? Let's drop this all the way down to the low preset where we were getting really good performance, even at 1080p, yeah? And yep, the frame rate's gone a bit higher. So let's just see if we can be a little bit more sneaky, shall we? And let's try dropping the resolution down to like 720p. Where is 720p? There it is, 1280 by 720, and hit yes. Again, this kind of game, totally acceptable. And we're at like 120 FPS now, like 90 to 120, like that's totally cool. So we're at 720p, all low, getting really, really good frame rate, and it feels super responsive and nice, right? But let's try dropping the TDP down, shall we? So what I'm going to do is drop the TDP down to 17 watts. Let's just see how this is, right? And we're still like going up to like 120 FPS, which is hilarious. Some drops, but fine. I think that's totally acceptable. Let's try dropping it down to 15 watts. Just give it a second to make sure that it's actually going to be 15 watts. I'm seeing there on the GPU, we're at about 9 watts, 10 watts, and we're at about 5 watts on the CPU. So yeah, that's 15 watt TDP. We're still going up to 120, which is mad. Let's just try the extreme of, let's just drop this all the way down to 10 watts. Let's just see how that goes. we're now at like 60, 50s, 50 to 60. Yeah, I mean, this is totally playable. If you turn that like frame rate counter off, I mean, it's going up to like 80 there every now and again. You could totally play this game at 720p, all low, at 10 watts, and be getting like a good 60 FPS on average, right? Let's just go in here and just run around an area where there's like more people being rendered and stuff. I mean, we're up into like the 70s now. Still looks great because this kind of game has that kind of look to it that it doesn't really matter if it's slightly lower resolution. It still looks really good, you know. So I think you can get away with cheating it a little bit by just dropping the resolution down, dropping the power down, and then, you know, going like that. Now I know I'm going to fall through the floor just there, so let's just quickly go back in. Yeah, I mean, the frame rate's really good. Inside areas seem to be anywhere from 60 to 80 FPS. And that's the same sort of thing for outside as well. Let's just turn my torch on and walk through here. Now the rest of this area is all inside anyway, but yeah, I mean, it's going up to like 90 FPS in here, which I would expect because I'm just in a event, right? But let's just drop down to the next zone. And yeah, we're still inside, right? So we are at that sort of like anywhere between 70 and 90 FPS, which I think is really good considering it's only 10 watts. Now let's check out the Xbox Ally X, which is running Windows. I am using a custom 20 watt profile. If you want to know how to do that, go watch the section earlier in this video about the Xbox Ally. I actually show you how to go into Armory Create and make one of these if you don't know already, but I've got it set to 20 watts, which is a custom profile. I also am at 1080p with CPU boost off, and I think I've got about 10 gig of VRAM assigned on this device, but you don't need that much for this game. Right, in the game itself then, I'm at 1080p, I'm on full screen. I've turned off the frame rate limit just so that the game doesn't cap it. I've got VSync off. I'm at a render scale of 1, which means it's native resolution, right? And I've got SMAA on, and then everything all low, just to see what we're getting. And straight away, I mean, we're at the sort of comfortable 50 to 70 mark, somewhere around that in this area just here. And I'm pretty sure that the R.O.G Ally running SteamOS with the Z1 Extreme, this one here, was actually getting more frame rate than this at 20 watt, which will just be a benefit of how lightweight SteamOS is, right? So, and remember, the Z2 Extreme is meant to outperform the Z1 Extreme at lower TDPs, so around the sort of 20 watt mark, this should be outperforming it. But I'm actually thinking that we're getting lower frame rate here on the exact same settings, which will purely just be down to a Windows thing, right? So just bear that in mind. But at 20 watts, we are sort of around that 50 to 60 mark, but because of this game, you don't really need to be running this at 1080p. It looks really good even at lower resolutions. So let's just go ahead and drop the resolution just down. So let's just go to 720p because I really don't think you're going to see much of a difference because of the type of game it is. It being slightly lower resolution just kind of aids in the fact that it's looking old school, kind of Mickey Mouse era, right? And frame rate wise, we're not really seeing that much of a jump, if I'm honest. We're still in the sort of like 50 to 60 mark. Sometimes I'm seeing that jump up to 70, but that's kind of where we were anyway, you know, at 1080p. So it's a little bit weird that the resolution isn't getting more. I was expecting this to be up in the sort of 90s, not pretty much sat in the same kind of 60 FPS mark, which is a little bit strange. We'll be able to sort of confirm these findings when we move over to the Legion Go 2, which also has a Z2 Extreme, but is running SteamOS. So if that performs better, then we know it's a Windows problem here. If it's on par with this, then maybe it's a driver problem for the Z2 Extreme or something, I don't know. But anyway, we're at the sort of like 60 FPS mark. Let's just see if we can push it up. Bear in mind we're still at 20 watts and 720p here, so let's just go and see if changing the game settings to medium has any effect on the frame rate. Yeah, it's gone down. We're now in the sort of 40s. I'm seeing drops to 30s. Well, we're back up to, oh, massive stutter there, but we are sort of sat in the 40s. Let's go inside here and just see what it's like. I expected it to jump up quite a bit here. So yeah, it's pretty bad actually. Like I was expecting better than this. It definitely ran better than this on the OG Ally which is running SteamOS. So again, that to me is making me think this is a Windows issue. I was quite surprised by how well this ran on the base white Ally with the Z2A, but this is chugging a little bit. I was able to run this game on the OG Ally, this one with the Z1 Extreme, at 10 watts, all low, at 720p, and was still getting like, it was around the 60 FPS mark. But we're at 20 watts here, and yeah, I don't know. Let's just try seeing how bad it is by chucking it up to high. And we're still sat around that sort of 40 FPS mark, so it doesn't seem to affect the performance too much by jumping up from medium to high. In here a second ago was a little bit bad, but it seems to be smoothed out a bit more here, which is really weird because we've gone from medium to high. But okay, fine. Let's just try going outside again where we started doing all these tests and just chucking a little bit more power. Let's go 25 watts. And just seeing if that stabilizes it. Let's just give it a second to let it ramp up. Yeah, it does seem to be a little bit more stable, but it's still not anywhere near as well running as I was expecting. Let's just drop it down to silent mode and then go into the game settings here and pop it back to low just to see, you know, if we can get away with that. So there we go. So we're on 13 watts and we're getting 40 to sort of 60 FPS, which is totally playable. If you want the best battery life, this is the way to go. Chuck it down to 720p, just run the game at 13 watts, and you're good to go. I mean, the GPU power is at 10 watts just there. But GPU utilization is only like, what, 35% or something, which is pretty crazy. And the CPU utilization is only like 30%. So I'm actually a little bit disappointed by the performance on the Xbox Ally X, if I'm completely honest, but only because I've seen what the performance is like on the Z1 Extreme SteamOS variant, which is a lot more capable than this for some reason, right? Which we would expect again, but I'd still think the Z2 Extreme at the lower TDPs would outperform even that, but that just doesn't seem to be the case. Let's just see if we can confirm these findings when we jump over to the Legion Go 2. So now we're on to our last device, the Lenovo Legion Go 2. This is running SteamOS 3.9. I am running this at 20 watts TDP just here in like a custom profile on SteamOS, got VRR enabled. And in the game itself then, we are running this at 1200p, so native resolution. I've got the frame rate limit cap off, so it's unlimited, so we can just see the most amount of frames it can put outright. I've got the render scale at 1, which means it's actually native resolution, so we're not upscaling. I've got SMAA, and then all low presets. Now, if you've just come from watching the Xbox Ally X tests, you'll know that at 1080p at 20 watts was nowhere near hitting over 100 FPS. So all the issues that I was getting on the Xbox Ally X actually seemed to be the fact that, you know, it was running Windows, because the Xbox Ally X just here was getting worse performance than the older OG Ally right here, which was running SteamOS. So this was SteamOS, this is Windows, and this was outperforming the Xbox Ally X, even though it's only got a Z1 Extreme processor and not the Z2, right? But this does have a Z2 Extreme, and we're running SteamOS, and we're already outperforming it. We're over 100 FPS native resolution in that area just there. Okay, there's fluctuations. Not that we need to worry about that on any of these handhelds because they've all got VRR screens, right? So 80 to 100 FPS, absolutely fine. I mean, I'm biased because I absolutely love this screen. This screen on the Legion Go 2 is absolutely ridiculous. It's by far the best screen on the market, and it really changes your playing experience. Not that I actually recommend one right now with the pricing, which is absolutely madness, but as a device, ignore the price. Like, the screen is phenomenal. It's really, really good. And you can see whilst running SteamOS, the performance is absolutely ridiculous at native. So this is actually running at a higher resolution than the Xbox Ally was, because that's only a 16:9 resolution of 1080p. This is 1200p, and we're just absolutely getting massively more performance out of this. But again, that's going to be thanks to SteamOS and all their efforts over there. So let's just go up here. We're going to, well, let's just see actually. Keep it on all low. Let's go all the way down. Whoa, it goes really far down. Okay, let's not go all the way down. Let's go to 800p, which is the equivalent of 720p, but just for a 16:9, right? So let's just see what sort of frame rate we're going to be getting here. Boom, it straight away jumped up. Oh, I don't know, actually, it seems to be dropping. It seems to be dropping frame rate. Oh no, if I face this way, I've capped it out at 144 hertz, right? So I'm like 144 FPS, which is just absolutely madness. Yeah, so this is absolutely the way to get like the most frame rate if you really, really want it. Drop it down to 720p, 800p, right, which is what I'm at, and 20 watts. And I'm like pretty much maxing the screen's capability out. And I like that it hits the 144 hertz. It doesn't even go over the top of that. So there's no like screen tearing being introduced. It's just hitting that cap of 144 hertz and then staying there or dropping, which will then utilize the, you know, the VRR experience, which is really, really cool. So this game lends itself to looking old and looking like an old Mickey Mouse kind of style vibe. So you can totally play this at 800p, even on this massive screen that we've got on the Legion Go 2, and it doesn't look bad at all whatsoever. And remember, this is all low. This is all low, which is crazy. And I'd more than happily play this at like nearly 144 frames a second, right? And it still looks great, but let's just keep it at 800p, and let's just go ahead and bump the graphics up, right? So let's just go to medium for one and give it a second. Let's have a little run around. It's still breaking 120 FPS, 130 FPS here, 144 here, which is madness. We are at 800p, remember that. But this is raster, this is native, right? No upscaling. So really, really good performance here on SteamOS from the Legion Go 2. And let's just go ahead and chuck it up again. Do remember I've got 16 gigabytes of VRAM, so changing all these settings is going to be fine. Just see what this is like. So this is 800p, high preset. We're still getting crazy performance. It's still breaking 120 like no sweat. Not a problem. GPU is only at like 75% utilization, so it's not even like struggling. It's just chilling, cruising along, and we're well over 100 FPS at 800p on all high settings. I'm not too sure if there's a higher setting. Let's see. I've not even looked yet. So let's just go ahead and go to Ultra. Yeah, let's try that. So Ultra doesn't seem to actually chuck on everything at Ultra, which is weird. I wonder if that's a bug. Let's just, oh no, it does change stuff. It absolutely does change stuff. So let's just go to the Ultra preset. We're still like 80 to 120 FPS, which again, on a VRR screen like this, you wouldn't even notice those fluctuations. It just easily feels like 100 FPS at all times. Like it's super, super responsive. Like it's crazy. That's really, really cool. Now, just for the sake of it, because, you know, we're having fun, right? Let's just go ahead and just max everything out. Let's just crank it all up. Let's just crank it up and see if we can break it. Right, so everything's just maxed out, absolutely maxed out. Let's hit save. Let me just scroll down to prove it to you. There we go, look, everything's on high and ultra maxed out. There we go, now you can see that stuff's, the frame rate's dropped right down, but we're still like nearly at 90 FPS. I mean, it definitely doesn't feel like 100 FPS anymore. But look at the frame rate. Like the frame rate's still actually really capable. Just in this area, for some reason, if I look exactly there, it's like 50 FPS. If I chuck it around here, we're at like nearly 90. Let's go inside here. Boom, broken 100. GPU's at 100% nearly, 99% utilization. It's totally playable to play this at 800p maxed out on the Legion Go 2 running SteamOS. Is just absolutely ridiculous. But I want to try one last thing. I know I'm spending way longer on this one, but this seems to be performing way better than any of the other handhelds. So let's just crank it all down to low. So now we are at like maxed out frame rate. But what I want to do is go in here, go to the TDP. Let's just drop it all the way to 10 watts. Let's see if it's still playable even at 10 watts. Let's give it a second for it to feel itself out. The GPU up there is at 4 watts. The CPU's at 6 watts, and we're still getting 50 to 80 FPS, which is absolutely madness. Let's see if we can go lower. Can we go lower than 10 watts? Let's go 8 watts. Let's see. Oh, it's dropping down quite considerably now. We're in the sort of like 40s. Which, I mean, to be perfectly honest, if you want to get insane battery life, then you can totally play this at 40 to 50 FPS at 8 watts on all low 800p. Totally, totally playable. I would probably just whack this at 800p on all low at 15 watts, maybe 20 watts, just to have like insane FPS and like super smoothness, because that extra wattage there, let's just try it at 15 watts because I didn't try that. Let's give it a second to sort itself out. Look at the frame rate, well over 100 already. And yeah, this is the way to go. 15 watts, 10 to 15 watts, 800p, all low. You're going to have a great time in this game. Really, really cool. Super impressed by the Legion Go 2's performance here on SteamOS with this game. Highly recommend it. So there we have it. Will Mouse P.I for hire run on handhelds? Abso-freaking-lutely. It runs really well on the Xbox Ally. I really wasn't expecting it, but it ran really good on that. On SteamOS, on the OG Ally, it ran phenomenally well. Really, really well. Better than I expected, actually. On the Xbox Ally X, though, I mean, that ran really badly, if I'm perfectly honest. This was the worst out of the lot. I'm more impressed by that, the Xbox Ally, than I was with the Xbox Ally X. No idea what's going on there. Don't know if it's like GPU drivers and Windows just being really finicky, but for some reason, the performance was worse than this one running, which is the old model, right? The Z1 Extreme running SteamOS, and by far, as we expected, the Legion Go 2 running SteamOS, it just nails the entire lot of them. This ran perfectly, like insanely well. We were getting really high numbers, like maxing out the frame rate of the panel's capabilities at 144 hertz, right, which is absolutely mad. And we managed to drop the TDP right down to like 8 watts and it still be totally playable at like 40 to 60 FPS, somewhere around there. Madness, absolutely madness. So really big win for these lot. Bit of a lose on the Xbox Ally X, which I just wasn't expecting. I always expect these two to come out on top, but it just wasn't the case. Weird. But anyway, there we have it. Will it run? Totally. Yeah, you can play it on basically any device. It's going to look really cool. It's a really cool game. I played it last night on the TV for a couple of hours on my PC, and I had a great time. It was really, really cool. So yeah, I highly recommend that you go check this game out. Super fun. It's basically like Jazz Doom is how I explained it to AJ when I was talking to him, like via chat, right? I was like, it's kind of like easy Doom with more jazz. It's really cool. I like it a lot. Big thumbs up from me. Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments whilst it's down there. Like this video, subscribe, become a member, and you get to chat to us over on our private Discord. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.